Okay, I'm wearing Canada Day hat because July 1st is Canada Day, and I don't know what's going on for Canada Day because pretty much in Canada, Prime Minister Trudeau has shut the country down. You can't come into the country because the borders are closed, and you still can't go to, well, you can sort of go to the bar if they have an outside patio. As far as going inside, I don't think you can go. I don't know if you can go to the indoor bathrooms. I don't know if they have porta potties. Prime Minister Trudeau, as everyone knows, is the son of Fidel Castro of Cuba. And like Castro, he's a communist. He's pretty much turning Canada into Cuba. That is, if you go to any of the stores, there's nothing on the shelves, and you have to line up to get there. This is the same as old Soviet Russia way back in the day. Now, it's true that Trudeau was supposed to be elected by democratic means, although pretty much we learned from the Good Wife TV show that all the election machines are open to being corrupted. So, anyways, Trudeau was elected first so he could make marijuana more available. As it turns out, no one is buying marijuana from the marijuana stores in Canada. Why? Well, we just saw the news on LinkedIn that major cannabis grow ops, the legal one, regulated ones, have cut back on their staff enormously. They thought there was going to be a huge boom of people smoking weed. No, they're not. So they're cutting way back on their grow op operations. And truth be told, I don't really figure it out other than, if people do smoke weed, they're still going to get it from their local guy. I don't know if it's cheaper or not, but apparently, if you go into a government store, you've got to give ID, so they got all kinds of records on you. And people are sort of at the point where they don't want the government to know, what they're buying and selling. So the legal cannabis business is a bust. And as far as Trudeau, um, he's um, he's the last dictator. That was a song by Space Hog. Very good song, The Last Dictator. It's about Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau, he doesn't have command of the Canadian Parliament. That is, he's in a, what do the British call it? Is it a hung parliament? Something like that. In other words, he doesn't have enough seats to have a majority in Parliament, so he's decided to abolish Parliament, and he's not going to have any Parliament whatsoever this year. In other words, he has staged a coup, and he still calls himself Prime Minister, but as far as we're concerned in Canada, he's made himself a dictator like his father Fidel Castro in Cuba. So the government of Canada is now illegitimate in that they don't report to Parliament and they don't have a majority of seats in Parliament. So he's used COVID-19 to put himself in power. Pretty soon, I think he's going to change his name to um, El Presidente or something because he's a banana republic kind of guy. Generally speaking, I don't know if the RCMP are going to arrest him. Um, it's very difficult to know because most Canadians are. Um, I don't know much about Canadians these days. Pretty much Canadians wander around in a daze, not from smoking marijuana, pretty much just because they've got this new, um, maybe it was old fashioned, but they've pretty much become um, I don't know, ditzy, dumb, ditzy and dumb. Yeah, I don't know. In the olden days, Canadians were known for their ice hockey, and they were very tough. They could beat the Americans, and they could beat the Finns and the Swedes, and they could even beat the Russians. They could beat the Czechs. But these days, I don't know. They pretty much have become pussies. It's the country of pussies, not kitty cats and not women's underwear. It's basically a pussy is a man who is um, unwilling to I don't know is it's very difficult to tell you. They just seem to have no um, cajones in Cuban Spanish or balls in um, British slang. Canadian men have become um, pussy whipped, and generally speaking, um, Canadian women also seem to be pretty much um, in any event, Canadians are celebrating. It's not Independence Day because they never really were independent. They always had the Queen, but the Queen hasn't been to Canada in so long, and it's sort of so long the Queen. But all the institutions still say, Crown property. Generally speaking, we don't really understand how anything is working in Canada these days. It seems to be um, anyways, I'm not going to wish you a happy Canada Day because um, I think we should change the name of Canada. I think we've had enough of the name Canada. Uh, the indigenous people, the Aboriginal people, don't like Canadians. They don't like Canada. And I think, you know, um, we need a new thing. So I think we need to abolish Canada. And I think we could call it, I know what we can call it. So here it is. The new name of the former Canada is going to be Moosehead. So, if you used to go and uh, you're just going to be going, if you're going to take a plane, you're just said, I'm going to Moosehead. And that's going to be where their destination is, because everyone knows that Canada is full of moose. So that's what it is now. I'm not going to call it a country. We're going to call it mm, I don't want to go. But if it's going to be called Moosehead, we don't want it to be called land because it's not land. It's kind of like uh, with Star Trek. They had holodeck. That's what the former Earth is. It's a holodeck. And a holodeck called Earth that used to thought was a global planet. It's not. It's a holodeck. And in the holodeck, if it's going to be, you just put the program on the computer and turn the dial to Moosehead, and then you're gonna get, Moosehead.